Today we're going to learn about the commutative property of addition, or using turnaround facts when adding. So mathematicians call this the commutative property of addition. Let's take a look at what that means. So the commutative property, if we look at it, the word commutative means to move around. So the commutative property of addition means addition facts are going to move around. And the other side of the equation, on the other side of the equal sign, is going to stay the same. So no matter what order you add in, it'll always be the same. The sum will always be the same. So let's look at an example. One example would be 2 plus 3. So if I use my counters to represent that, I have 2 plus 3. Together, if I count them, I see that I have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 plus 3 is the same as 5. Now, if I switch those around and do 3 plus 2, the commutative property would tell us that it would be the same. But let's use some counters to prove it. So now this time I have 3 plus 2. Even though I switched the order and the 3 is coming first, 3 and 2 is still 5. 3, 4, 5. So 3 plus 2 is the same as 5. It doesn't matter which order I add in on this side of the equal sign, it equals the same. 2 plus 3 is the same as 5, and 3 plus 2 is the same as 5. Let's look at another example. How about 5 plus 3? This time let's use cubes. I have 5 blue cubes plus 3 green cubes. If I put them together, 5 plus 3 equals 8. So 5 plus 3 is the same as 8. I put them together in this order. Blue first, then green. Now let's try it flipping it the other way. This time I have 5 plus 3. Let's switch it and do 3 plus 5. Let's prove it again with those cubes. If I start with 3, I put out 5 more. When I put them together, I still have 8. So it doesn't matter which order you put them in, the sum is going to be the same. So 3 plus 5 is the same as 8, just like 5 plus 3 is the same as 8. Today you're going to show your understanding of the commutative property by playing a game. The game for your seat work today is called Roll It Baby Switch. So what you're going to do is take this recording sheet, you're going to roll 2 dice. You're going to write the number that you rolled or represent it with dots on your dice here. Then you'll write the equation to match. Then you will flop or switch the dice to different spots and show me the turnaround fact. So let's do an example. Here's a closer look. So let's say I roll the dice and I roll a 5 and I roll a 2. So I have my 5 and my 2 on my dice that are on my paper. Next I need to write my equation. So 5 came first, then I rolled a 2. So I have 5 plus 2. When I put those together, I can either count on, I can use cubes, I can use counters, whatever I need to help myself. I could draw a picture, and I know that 5 and 2 more is 7. So I write 7. My equation below is 5 plus 2 equals 7. I'm not done yet because over in this column, I need to show me the turnaround fact. So I'm going to swap places with the dice and write my equation in that order and see if it makes a difference. So if I switch it, I did 5 first, then 2. This time I'll have 2 first and then 5. So my equation now becomes 2 plus 5. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to see if this works. So I start with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No matter what order I put it in, it still is 7. So 5 plus 2 is 7, and 2 plus 5 is 7. I can swap them around. Your job is to complete the rest of the page with using dice, showing me that you have a full understanding of the commutative property or turnaround facts. This is going to come really in handy when you're doing math later on. And if you can get So if I know 5 plus 2, then I know 2 plus 5, and it'll help me answer math facts much quicker. Remember, as always, I would love to see you using counters or cubes to help yourself as you're adding. That's always okay to do. And it's always okay to watch the video again if you're not quite sure what the commutative property is and you don't have full understanding of what your job is for today. Let's take a look at your job. Speaking of which, you're going to do your check-in today to do a class kick. So I would like for you to use the code that's on the board to log into class kick to show me your knowledge about part, whole boxes. Next, you're going to do our target practice or our seat work for the day that we talked about. You're going to do your roll it baby switch. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns to show me your turnaround facts. Of course, that goes into the turn-in bin when you are finished. Finally, or next, I guess, you're going to do your must-do on Seesaw. So I want you to tell me, what is the turnaround fact for 8 plus 2? The words you might use to describe that on Seesaw is to say the turnaround fact for 8 plus 2 is, you would fill in that blank. I'd like you to either write it and take a picture, the turnaround fact, or you can use your writing tool on Seesaw and write it right there on Seesaw to show me what the turnaround fact is, or the commutative property would be. Finally, I want you to do 1 round of MobyMax Math when you are finished with your jobs. Keep going until it says the lesson topic is passed. That's how you know you'll be finished. Again, today we talked about the commutative property, knowing that it doesn't matter what order we add numbers in. We can switch the order and it still is the same sum.